Do you believe?
We're going to put a bow on week 5. We're going to move on to week 6. Week 6 is going to be very, very good for the Dogs. They welcome Auburn between the hedges, a game that on paper should be a slaughter. And you and I were talking off air right before we came on. How does Paul Chryst get fired, but Brian Harsin still has a job? A lot of people in Auburn are wondering that. Rumors are swirling that he's already been fired. They're just letting him play out the string. Part of me thinks that they don't want the interim guy to be a sacrificial lamb in Athens. They want to wait at least one more week, probably, before they officially let him go. But it's just going from bad to worse for Auburn. They hit plays early in the game, but once the quarter clock changes from one to another number, they completely fall apart. They have no depth. They have it's rough over there in Auburn, and they've got to find some answers. Robbie Ashford, new starting quarterback, what does he bring to the table? When you look at this Auburn team, what dangers do you see offensively versus our defense? What do they bring to the table?
Tech Bigsby and Ashford are two phenomenal players. Big games yesterday against LSU. The first half was completely dominating both sides of the ball. Ashford is a heck of an athlete. He's a baseball player as well. With Oregon, you get Bo Nix and we get Ashford. But he's come in, taking over for Finley. And they kind of had direction. They kind of have a direction now of kind of what they want to do, which is great for Auburn. In Athens, I think Ashford just got to do what he did last week. They got to come up with more wrinkles, find the ball. But I don't expect this game to be like by any means. I think Georgia goes in this game, looking to punish somebody, to pay for And I think Auburn, you just have to draw that stick. It's going to be loud, and we just got to stay efficient. I don't think by any means. I think they can beat you. They showed that yesterday playing LSU. They realistically had the game won until the second half. The second half with about 8 minutes left. They had that game won. So Auburn really doesn't scare me. There's nobody on that side of the ball that scares me. I think they're a really good job recruiting because nobody's going to Auburn right now. They got a kid from Thomas County Central, but he's really the only top prospect I see going to Auburn. I've never seen anything like that happen. And so that says that something over there. It might not be Harsin. It might be something. Right now are struggling, and I think defense is playing hard and well. But when you're on the field a lot, like we say all the time, keep putting your defense out there, they're going to break down. Over, you're going to lose.
Yeah. And Auburn, they play hard. They have a lot of pride down there, which is good. But it's just not – there's just not a connection there between Harsin and the rest of the team. There's just something off with them. Like, it just seems like the first time something goes wrong, things fall apart. And that's – that's kind of like a house of cards. Like, it looks pretty, looks good, and then the minute a slight breeze comes, it all crumbles, and you're left picking up the pieces. And that's kind of what Auburn has been the last 3 weeks, where they get off to a good start. Like, they get off to a great start against Penn State, have a highlight-worthy hit by Owen Pappoe on Sean Clifford. Turned him parallel like he was a poltergeist, or was it exorcist that they were hovering over the field. Like, when he hit him, Sean Clifford hovered for like 2 seconds, parallel to the ground. He fell in slow motion, and the ball went flying. Plays like that had that crowd juiced up. And then second quarter on, Penn State just put the pedal to the metal and blew them out. Same with LSU. LSU, they ate punches early. They didn't panic. That's one thing I'll say about Brian Kelly is, as bad as they looked against Florida State and as discombobulated as they looked at Florida State and as discombobulated as they've looked in the first half of just about every game they've played so far outside of the 2 FCS opponents they've played, I would say LSU has got some resolve and they're a good second half team. Auburn is the exact opposite. And so to me, it's, hey, can you withstand the initial onslaught? And with Georgia being home this week, I don't think Auburn's really going to have an onslaught.
I think turning back to Sanford, we're not playing the school definitely blind. They're going to overlook anybody. And like I said, they got a point. Everybody kind of counted them out yesterday. Fans are fans. The thing about fans saying that it's hard, no matter who you play, no matter what they look like the week before. Every recruits, every team gets better, every team practices. So understand if they look like they do the first that week before, they're playing up. They want to beat us. We have a target on the back, so we're gonna get the best shot. Back to Sanford. Some paid for last week, and I think that's gonna be the moniker for this week. Somebody's got to pay for last week. Dropping the ball. So Auburn, you're gonna be it. So I don't see us having any slip up. They might get us on a couple of series here and there, and we'll adjust, go ahead and beat them like we're supposed to.
Yeah, and what's great about this next run is you get Auburn, Vanderbilt, a bye week before you have to hit the stretch of Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Kentucky. And even Georgia Tech scares me now at this point. But that's not an easy stretch. You're at Mississippi State, at Kentucky, in mid-November. Mississippi State has become not an easy place to play, and Kentucky at night with what they've got going on, not an easy place either, because that place can get really, really raucous really fast when they care about something. And of course, home against Georgia Tech, who's playing inspired football. But this week against Auburn, I think that what Penn State did a really good job of doing, what I think LSU did a really good job in the second half of doing against Robbie Ashford, is when you get him going sideways, or when you get him kind of going backwards a little bit and moving around and get him where he can't get in a rhythm, he doesn't come off to me as polished enough yet to be able to make those off-platform throws, to be able to get himself in those situations where he can use his legs to buy time. And occasionally he will. The first touchdown they scored was one of those type plays where he moved. I think he moved left and he stepped up and over and delivered a dot to a wide open receiver. But I think if you can get him where you're pushing the pocket, don't allow him those creases, and anytime he throws the ball, he better be on the ground. Like you need to, even if he gets the ball, even if he gets to throw off, even if he completes it, you take shots on him. That's gonna count up. That's what Georgia did against Bo Nix. It was if he's gonna run around, put him on the ground.
Yes,
make him remember. Even if he completes the pass, make him earn it. Make him think, because later on in the game, Ashford's going to pull back on one of those throws and he's going to float it, and we're going to pick it off because he's afraid of taking that big shot. And so anytime you can get shots on the quarterback, it helps. And I think to an athletic guy like that, that's what you have to do.
Yeah, and he's the
pressure.
Opposite of Bro Nix, in the sense that downfield, when he does break the pocket, he's looking to make a play. Other than with Bo Nix, it was all right when he moves out the pocket. He's that's where Ashford can hurt you. He does a great job of keeping his eyes down the field. He will turn the ball over. I think we got to do a great mixing up coverages with him. I think if we just play man and play thing, we beat him. Our defensive line is playing really well right now. Linebackers are playing great. We just got to keep him contained, because he does run the ball. Really good job of running power read yesterday. In the first half, I think we kind of got second half. And hit him off, and he's a freshman or sophomore. One of those. Let's put it like that. Because he does play like a veteran. But this would be the he's played in Sanford Stadium. Like I said, after that game yesterday, he's going in with a pistol off bunch of Bulldogs who are looking to punish somebody to pay. Whether it's him or whether it's the answer for yesterday, and I think that's going to be the looking for the practice. this week. Somebody got to pay.
Yeah. And that'll be the theme. Offensively, how do you make Auburn pay? To me, I think you got to find number 10. Find number 10, know where he's at. This would be good preparation for finding 31 later on when the Crimson Tide show up in the Mercedes-Benz Dome again. And find 10. I think you run power counter, RPO, take shots downfield. Hopefully A.D. Mitchell is healthy. And you find Agent Zero, you find Brock Bowers, you get the tight ends involved early, way earlier. Take care of the football, and that should be an easy cover.
Take care of the football. I think we do a little bit more play action because in the shotgun, wherever we're sliding to, we're from the backside, which kind of went against us yesterday, and just play Georgia football. I think we pressed a little bit yesterday trying to figure out what Missouri was doing, but we all know what to do. Nobody on defense, the number 10 scares me from Auburn. They're really good, the defense. But at the end of the day, I think, like I said, I think we're better. We need to, get the receivers involved early. Like I said, with play act, screens, things like that, things that we know that we can be successful at. We need to play with some, which we kind of hit Missouri with yesterday, late. And like I said, if you start tempo and early, you can slow it down as the game goes on. Just little things like that. Get steps in the rhythm, get them some early catches. Rosemary Jackson did a great job stepping up. Good seeing Blaylock. Carries had a couple big catches yesterday. Getting all those guys involved. I know we're pretty much 12 personnel now. Get AD back this week, so we'll see how that goes. So, just all our playmakers involved early and often is what we need to do offensively. Because when involved, Stetson's comfortable. Go back and watch, the South Carolina game. He's clicking, he's making throws, things like that. On both sides of the ball. Special teams keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
y'all are doing a phenomenal job. So,
yeah, and don't press, because I felt like, one of the things that I didn't mention was that early in the game I felt like the receivers were pressing a little bit, like trying to make big plays, and they ended up not making big plays. Like McIntosh was pressing a little bit. I think when he fumbled, it just something was off. Like this team was just the energy was off
across the middle, which is going to be a huge first down instead. Now, I think he's back. He should have called big catches there at the end.
Yeah.
But like I said, we got to get receivers involved. I think we need to go a little bit 10 personnel, and not just on third down. Of course, it's kind of hard when you got two horses over there at tight end position. You got to get the guys on the field. That saying, those receivers involved in the game, so they're not coming in. Spread the wealth a little bit.
Get those guys in a rhythm too. Get them comfortable, because
third down, you're just third down, so we know teams know you throw the ball. So
I gotta make this catch.
Absolutely.
It's a weird pressure.
Screens, quick game type stuff. Just get them involved
just
early.
Get them involved. Yeah, just get them in the rhythm. Because once these receivers, once they started settling in, once they calmed down and realized that, hey, I'm not going to win the game on this snap, so I just got to make this catch and we're fine. I'm going to calm down and do what I do. They actually calmed down. They actually did what they do. Make big catches, huge catches in big situations. And down the stretch, that's what Georgia needed, and that's what Georgia got. And people, I think the expectation has also got to calm down. Like, we're so used to, I think we got spoiled a little bit and realized that, hey, this is the SEC. We don't have 15 NFL players on our roster right now that we had last year, and we're not going to steamroll everybody and hold everybody to a field goal. There might be some games where, teams have some good players like Luther Burden, who is a burden on our defense, and Brady Cook, that get in a rhythm and are hard to be stopped. There's going to be some games like that to where we have to win in a dogfight, and pun intended, I guess. So, the expectation is this team is resilient. This team's going to do what they need to do. I think they're going to cover this one, but offensively, just get in the rhythm early. Just get a few easy throws that Stetson can make to get him settled in. Once the first couple completions, once he makes the first couple clean completions, you're good. He's probably in a rhythm, and it's probably going to be Georgia 49-3 if that's the case. But if he gets sacked early on, if he gets rattled early on, we get pinned back and with terrible field position early on, and don't get much going in the run game, which is possible because Auburn does have a good front seven. This is the SEC after all. They did recruit really well on the defensive side of the ball, despite not recruiting very well on the offensive line. Running lanes might be not as plentiful in the first quarter, so we got to be able to make plays to overcome that. 10 personnel, short throws, quick throws, rhythm throws can help you with that.
Absolutely. So just stay on time. Both of our coordinators, so we understand this more than anything. Once you stay on time, everything kind of falls into place. So, like I said, like we did all along, it did a great job of not panicking. Last night, same thing goes when you're back at home. Don't panic. The game, you got to go for the game. Just stay on time, stay on track. And I think we went big, and it's Auburn. I'm still upset that we're not playing this game in November like we're supposed to. So I still get a little fancy, when we play this game in October because they were crying because they had to go play Alabama afterwards.
Yep, exactly. So now they're crying because they have to go play. I think they go play A&M next. I think, right? A&M's got a big one against Bama this week, so that'll be fun. So Georgia 29.5-point favorites. This game also the over under if you want to take a same game parlay. Let me check the over under on that. This is the 3:30 CBS game. It is Georgia's 29.5-point favorite, so we'll call it 30. The over under is set to 48.5. So kind of odd numbers there. So I guess they think it's going to be a 29-0 or a 31-3 type game.
Yeah.
No, the math's not right on that. Or 34-3 type game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under. Just from the simple fact is I think them offensively. We do get back on track offensively for us. But 9 points is a big deal, especially considering we were 29 in Missouri supposed to be, but we also how that game went. But I think we get back on track defensively. We hold them, and offensively, I think we pretty easily and go and cruise to victory.
Absolutely. I think the same thing. I think it's hard to pick the over these last 3 weeks, but I'm going to pick the under because I think it's going to be like a 38-10 type game. 38. Well, actually, it's going to be a 38-6, 38-7 type game. I think we're going to get a barely cover late. I think we're going to get real close to the over, but I think it's going to be right around 46, 47 points. I think it's going to be one of those where you're just kind of biting your nails and hoping that no more points are scored. But I do think Georgia pulls out the cover and the under, and I think that's how that one's going to end. So Robbie Ashford's going to have a tough go. This offense is going to have a tough go, and I think Georgia's just going to overwhelm them finally, like they're supposed to, and move on to take on the Commodores next week.
If they don't,
so I think
as long as we win, we win. You know what I mean? So
as long as we get, to me, if we get to 6-0, I'm good.